Okay, east. This is the south side of the house and the fence. And we've got high soil along here and foliage too close to the house. Gas meters on the south side. They're supposed to have 6 inches of space underneath the pot. Okay. And then we can also see here, excuse me, that there's a little bit of an opening around the gas pipe right there. And there's no bonding. So the bonding we're probably going to get, the continuous bonding, is going to be at the HVAC systems or the swimming pool water heater. Better than nothing, I suppose. Wood mulch, conducive to wood destroying insects. Bushes, conducive. High soil, conducive. Okay. We have soffit vents. Now we're not walking this roof. I'm not. Just don't have that much mountain goat in me. Alright, but we can see right here where water's been draining underneath, behind the rain gutter, or over the rain gutter, one or the other. I saw some roofing nails in the yard, so, and there's some roofing shingles, so this roof isn't very old. Okay, that drip edge flashing right there, okay, where it's lapped, it's supposed to lap 10 inches minimum. That's what the manufacturer says. And then the underlayment, okay, it's not supposed to go underneath. Okay, it's not supposed to go underneath the drip edge flashing. It's supposed to go over the drip edge flashing. You probably won't see a lot of problems with that, but it's not the way it's supposed to be made. Okay, remember, we're still on the south side. You see this white up here? That's just some pookie or some paint or something. That's not a missing shingle. We're coming over here. It's called sumping. See a big old sway back right there? Is this camera picking this up? You expect a little bit of roof deflection. You really do. You can't get around it, unfortunately. But when you get deflection like that, that's pretty major. And then, I haven't been in the attic yet, but you see that candy cane? Well, that looks to me like it might be a fresh air vent for a tankless water heater or furnace or something like that. But the clue here is next to it. That's a conventional exhaust flue vent cap. And if you're using tankless or high energy furnaces, whatever we find over there, and the discharge, the pressure discharge lines are on that side over by the swimming pool equipment. So I really think that's a water heater, and it's going to be interesting to find out what we see in the attic. When we come over here, see the rain gutter right there? It just discharges directly onto the roof covering. That's going to cause premature aging of the roof covering. And then we can see over here, we're not going to see very much. Again, I'm not going to get on the roof, but there's your masonry chimney with a chimney cap. Okay. Zoom you back out. And we're going to go down. And in an ode, or a shout out to Brian and Chris, we're going to hook it right. Okay, wood mulch, conducive to wood destroying insects, underneath the drip line. And I have that license. And then again, the flashing. If you look at this flashing, here's a better example. See that flashing right up in there? It's not lapped 10 inches. See that cornice up there? We got some wood damage on that cornice. And coming over here, it's happening over here, but I can show you better over here. Right in there. See the siding? It's not supposed to be in direct contact with the roof covering, because then moisture, capillary action, wicks up into it, and then you get that wood rot. You get all that wood rot right there. That's what's happened because it wasn't done right. I'm just saying. Coming along here, the steps shouldn't be higher than 7 3/4 inches. You're gonna have to help Granny in. Okay. And these light fixtures, they should be sealed. Okay, to keep water infiltration, penetration into the walls. Okay, they should have been sealed. We've got GFCI here. Okay, GFCI over here, the cover's missing, and this one's broken. Okay, I won't trip. And then you've got exposed, that's not even an NM cable, that's extension cord going to this luminary. The other one probably has that too. So you got exposed extension cord, no connector. It's just all wrong. That's bootleg. The doorbell, it works. I think I have to listen harder. It should be sealed. It's illuminated. Moving on along in here. This is the check valve for the lawn sprinkler system. Okay. It's buried. Its handle's missing. I don't have a main shut-off disconnect. It hasn't been serviced. You should have 3 inches underneath that valve so you can wrap your hands around it and service it, and it should be, the floor should be covered with gravel. So that just hasn't been servicing like forever. Okay. And then on a water meter, I like to do a water meter check on these things, but it's just not going to happen today. It's too full of muddy water. I can't get in there. But I wanted to show you that I couldn't do that. Okay. Moving on along. Now, when I first, this is negative drainage right here. Negative drainage under the property. And when I first got up here, I thought those were open rod holes for a termite treatment. And they might be, but what's happened here is on the other side of these grade beam walls, they're backed up with corrugated metal interior grade walls. And this wall here, the interior grade wall, the metal one, is failing. It's collapsing, it's rusty, and this whole area of the crawl space is wet. So I think what it is the pins that used to hold that corrugated interior wall in place have popped off when the wall failed. It could have been treatment, it could have been rotted, but that's not what I'm thinking any longer. Tree, and if that's wider than 3 inches, if the stump is wider than 3 inches, that's a tree. That's a tree. Tree shouldn't be any closer to the slab foundation than 25 feet. Okay, get a little bit of movement in here around the vent. Okay, now moving around the window casement. Okay, lawn sprinkler heads, they shouldn't be any closer than 12 inches to a structure. Alright, so your lawn sprinkler heads are all too close. So that one's right next to the structure right there. There's a wet inside. Huh. Okay, moving on along. Looking and looking and looking. This is the water pressure to the house. Okay. It's about 50 psi. And the valve is leaking when it's in the on position. Now, this is holding pressure, so this is putting a lot of pressure on this valve. It might not leak as much when you're just watering your yard, but it leaks. We'll come back and get that. So we're coming back and get that, but we'll come back and get that. That's where all my tools go. Got some moss over here on the north side. There's a clean out. Okay. Moving along. These are not dimensionally uniform. I mean, I get it because you don't like stepping in the mud, but they're kind of trip hazards. This is called an expansion, a control joint. Okay, it's got a mastic sealer in it because we expect the walls to move. It's good that that's there, but as you can see, the mastic sealer is getting dry and cracking, and it just needs to be serviced. And then these windows, see these metal lintels? Okay, above these windows, above these fenestrations that have brickwork over them, they're supposed to have weep holes, and they don't. That's the new vent fan for the kitchen. This is the old vent fan for the kitchen. It's been decommissioned. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything. It's all messed up, but it's not being used. Coming along here, kitchen windows. I think it's a breakfast area. Vent fan, kind of. But we got a little bit of cracking. right here. Vertical cracking through the brick and mortar. We got high soil conditions all along here. Alright. We have storage over here. This closed dryer vent fan. It's kind of clogged, stuck open. I can feel the draft. Okay. I'm not supposed to say okay all the time. It's a bad habit. Right here, it's around the front of the house too. This isn't the only example. But right there, you should have kick-out flashing that runs the water into the rain gutter instead of letting it drain down the wall. And there's also some instances around the front porch, the front entry, where we're also missing some kick-out flashing. Oh, and then over here, over this window, you see that little pipe right up there? Okay, that's your emergency secondary drain line for your air conditioning system. But that's not what I'm calling your attention to. It's kind of a visual reference. That if you'll look, the rain gutter right up there, the fascia board behind that, we got some wood rot on that fascia board right there. Probably from the other roof. I get that, but the wood wasn't addressed. Moving on along. Rain gutters below grade. This is the rain sensor, weather sensor for the lawn sprinkler system. And I just don't think it's going to work underneath an eave against a wall like that. That just could have been done better. I'm going to move along here a little bit. This retaining wall is farther than twice its height from the swimming pool and the house. So this retaining wall does not affect, in theory, does not affect the swimming pool nor the house. Okay, in the meantime, this retaining wall is not staying in place. Alright, it's rotating out of place. And not just rotating, it looks like we got some of that static pressure from the neighborhood. Might have been the way the lot was graded. Okay. So that's what we've got. The driveway flat work. It all looks pretty good. Okay, moving on along. The garage casement. See how they have these little metal plates put around it? Okay, well it's because it rotted. It rotted because it's like the siding around the dormers at the front of the house. The wood is in direct contact with the cement, and water is leaking, is coming up through capillary action. This is your garage door opener optic sensors. They work, but they're too high. They're not supposed to be closer to the floor than 6 inches. Farther from the floor than 6 inches. And the staples are supposed to be insulated staples. And the good thing is that you got spring tension stickers on both sides. You got door handles. The manual door lock though, he's not been decommissioned. Alright. And you've got a warning sticker on this, a safety notice on the door. You should also have a safety notice on the door opener button, which you do not have. One of your courtesy lights is inoperable. Okay, moving on along here. This garage door is supposed to be self-closing. It actually swings open, and it's got some dog damage to the door where the dog's been scratching it. But this is supposed to have a self-closing mechanism to isolate the garage from the living space, so that if there was a fire that happened inside the garage, it would not move into the house. Now here's a GFCI over here. This works for this refrigerator. It's on. But this receptacle outlet next to it is not GFCI protected. Moving on along here, we're just not going to get up into this attic, okay? And it's got some way heavy duty storage. I am not finishing opening that. I'm going to get a broom or something and push it back closed. Alright, I had to move some of this storage in order to get into the crawl space. I had to move some of this storage to get to this. And I had to move some of this storage to get to the electric service panel. Nothing was damaged. The value of anything did not change. This receptacle outlet right here, okay, it appears to be inoperable. I'm not even sure what it's for. The cover plate's missing for this guy, and he is not GFCI protected. Okay? Okay. Sorry. I've heard that it sounds demeaning. Alright, so you're not supposed to, okay, lighting, parentheses, 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 parentheses. No, it's supposed to be labeled more specific than that. And it's supposed to be printed. Not printed like that. It's supposed to be printed like that, professionally printed. So this was not done right. There's your electric service panel. Again, this is the south garage wall. All right, and it's supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap between the box and the sheetrock. All right. Okay. Whatever. Sheetrock screws. They're fast and they're tight. I get that. Okay. God. But they pop, they break, they do not have the shear strength that nails. You're supposed to nail these panels in so that if this house should experience a tornado, for example, then it would withstand, this box would stand a lot better chance of staying in place if it would have been nailed in like it should have been. The bonding location should have been posted in here somewhere. Your white hots, okay, they should have black tape wrapped around them. Like your neutral right here, it has white tape wrapped around it. There should be protective covers. This wasn't required when this house was built, by the way, but by today's standards you have protective covers around L1 and L2. It's called bundling. Just about every house has it. I get that, but it's still not right. Okay, and what happens is that, see these small knockouts? Those are for these lines. You're not supposed to bring more than 2 in at a time. This large one, okay, this large one is for L1 and L2. So, and you don't know where L1 and L2 is coming in, but it's a lot easier just to knock out this opening right here, up here, and then bring all your circuits in. It's called the skin effect. It generates heat, and again, it's not the way it's supposed to be. You probably will never have a problem with it. That said, it's not the way it's, again, it's not right. I wonder why we have so many junctions in here. It's copper. I wonder why these junctions are in here. Did they change the panel out for something? That's weird. Moving along. This gate is not supposed to open in towards the swimming pool area. And it's supposed to be self-closed. It swings closed on its own accord, but it does not have a self-closing spring on it. So it swings open and doesn't have a self-closing spring. We've got high soil over here, and in the crawl space, because the crawl space goes under the garage. All right. So in the crawl space, you can see that we've got some static pressure pushing the interior grade beam lining in, and there's rust there. This is the electric meter on the south side of the garage. Power is below grade, and it has been sealed with the wrong type of sealant, and the sealant is compromised right there. See how it's pulling away? See that? So that needs to be resealed. Coming along here on this grill, I shouldn't have put this back. I can't get the rotisserie to work. I can get these two to heat. Can't get the right side to heat. I can't get this back burner to work. We do have gas coming to it, so that's not an issue. Okay, just this right one.